Hey guys. So, my last video was about internal marketing. I came up with something that I think I can do kind of short, but it's somewhat spinning off of the whole internal marketing that I was talking about. So, what I'm going to talk about is why people leave your business. So, this could be like leave in general, stop purchasing, or take their business elsewhere. Most of it is taking their business elsewhere. So here's some interesting statistics. You can find these online. I think I first heard them from Ritz-Carlton, and the statistics vary like a little bit depending on where you find it. But they did studies on why people took their business elsewhere. So let me dive right in. Okay, so 4% of people will leave a business because they either pass away or they move away. So two big ones. Nothing you can really do about that. 4%, whatever. 9% will leave because they're lured away by a competitor. So some fabulous marketer is doing some great marketing and put out an awesome ad or something along those lines, a great deal, and lured you away, lured your customer, your patient, or whoever away from your business to theirs. Only 9%, okay? 11% leave because of product dissatisfaction. So that means your product cannot work. And people, only 11% of those people leaving are actually the people who came and the product didn't work, which happens all the time. In fact, I did that exact thing. My first pair of Beats, okay, Beats had just come out and I needed them for work. So I wouldn't even get into why I needed them for work, but I needed them for work, okay? So $200 pair of headphones, walk in, buy them, bring them back to the office, plug them in, they don't work. Like at all. Did I go back and buy a set of Bose instead, which I very well could have? They have a longer, better reputation? No. I just went back and I swapped it out for another pair of Beats. Bose are actually, they get more expensive, by the way, if you really want good ones. But I mean, I think you can get a $200 pair. But anyways, but no, I mean, I went back for a pair of Beats. Like I knew like inherently, like they can't like be that bad because they're so popular, you know, you'd hear more about it. And so went back, got another pair of Beats. They worked fine. However, and this is why internal marketing is so important, is because 66%, check my math, I know the numbers are like roughly there. So 66% of the people who leave your business and take their business elsewhere leave because of the attitude of indifference on the part of an employee. The attitude of indifference on the part of an employee. And I mean, that can be just like if you watch the last video about internal marketing, that could be that girl, that receptionist sitting at the front desk who never bothered to acknowledge me standing there. She knew I was standing there and never even looked up to see, am I just signing in or am I waiting for her? That's an attitude of indifference. She didn't care. Like I said, I can go on a rampage. If any, to be honest, you would not work for me with that behavior. There's a good chance I would just fire you. That would never happen in my business. But anyways, moving on. So 66% will leave because this is why I say internal marketing is so important. And I'm not talking about the advertisements. I'm talking about training your teams to behave, and not only like to behave properly and professionally, but to also just be courteous and having the right people on your teams. Some people do not belong in customer service, period. They just don't. And some people are just selfish and don't give a crap about other people. You don't want them working there either. Let them go struggle finding a job. Maybe they'll learn to be a little humble and then they can try to come back and get a job. But you want people who actually give a crap about people, because we can put tons of money into marketing. We can be driving you leads and all of that stuff. One employee, it could be a cashier at the checkout line, can lose you leads business profits. That's huge. My entire job is to bring you more profit. So if there's somebody in your business that's tearing that down, that's destroying those profits by crappy customer service, that's important. And that is why internal marketing is so hugely important to me. Because if you're not delivering on the inside, particularly with your people, if your product is whatever, especially if you're like a retail store, like, you pick and choose. You're gonna have products that are better than others. You're gonna have nicer, blouses here, and then cheaper blouses here, whatever. But your people should be trained to behave, and they should have certain work ethics that will not lose you business. And that's why it's so important. But at the same time, it's like there are people who are not bad. That girl at that front desk, maybe she never thought about it that way. That her not even acknowledging my presence standing there it says to me, like, I don't even care that you're there. Maybe she never thought of that. Maybe it's not that she didn't care. She just didn't think about it because nobody ever said, hey, when someone walks in the door, you look up at them and you smile and you say, hi, welcome. Because sometimes people just need to be trained and taught and monitored and held accountable for things like that. Because maybe she came from somewhere where the business didn't give a crap about any of their people. And so they just allowed whatever behavior. And she worked with somebody who didn't give a crap about anybody who walked in there. And so she saw how they behaved. And maybe they just sat there when somebody came in the door and never paid any attention to the fact that somebody was there. Never gave a crap about it. And maybe she learned those bad habits from watching someone else. You never know. I'm not saying like when you see that person who just doesn't even bother to acknowledge you, it doesn't mean that they specifically don't care. They maybe they've never even thought about how rude or how, inconsiderate in general that is. But and they might just be a bad habit. Maybe it's just a matter of going, it's really rude that you don't even bother to like look at me when I walk in the door. And then they're like, oh my God, really? Like, oh, I never really thought of it like that. So there are those people, okay? So that's why training is so hugely important, period. Why it's so important to train your team to be, they're all in marketing. They're all there, okay? You can't assume, this was like a big struggle for a long time in the last business I worked in, was people should know. Yeah, okay, I agree. Like, I have enough common sense and I have enough courteous manners, but you don't know where people are coming from or what they've learned, and you shouldn't assume that anyone knows anything, period. I mean, there's a certain level of like, if you're going to hire a real estate agent, you should assume that they know how to do that job, but you shouldn't assume that they deliver outstanding customer service all the time. Real estate agents, real estate exams, I don't think they ask about that kind of crap. It's just like a doctor. You are trained to be a doctor. They don't teach you business ethics. They don't teach you customer service. They don't teach you that in medical school, dental school, whatever it was. They taught you how to be a doctor, So, I mean, you can't assume that people know how to, what they should and shouldn't be doing. So that's my rant.